My name is Kelly Hollins. I was born in Newham, England. I was raised as a Christian. I was brought up in Canning Town, the East End. We regularly attended church on a Sunday. I didn't quite understand actually at the time why we was going. It was just like to see other friends every Sunday we used to go. And my parents would go into the other side of the church and we'd go into the other side, and it was called Sunday school. And me and my friends, we never used to really listen or take much notice actually. We just sort of talk amongst ourselves and not take any notice. So I didn't really learn much from going to church at all. I was confirmed at about the age of 12. Even when I was confirmed, I didn't actually know why I was getting confirmed. It's just that my parents said that I had to go to went extra lessons, like in the church, to learn more, but I still never really took anything in. And it was just like a ceremony that we was going to on that Sunday, and it was going to be a little bit different than going to Sunday school. And we just walked to the front, and the vicar said a few words, and then I was confirmed. So I wasn't actually looking for religion until maybe about 6 years ago, when I decided to try and find out. About 6 years ago, I was in a relationship with a Turkish man, and he asked me what my religion was, so I said Christian. And when I asked him his, he said Muslim. So I started asking him a few questions, because then I gained an interest, because I wanted to know about what he believed in and the different beliefs, and I wanted to understand. And it was only later on that I realised that he didn't actually practice Islam. From around 2007 onwards, when I first started looking into Islam, I was more looking for a belief in a religion, because I didn't understand Christianity. I wanted to find something that I really believed in. This is my very good friend Natasha. We grew up together. We've always been friends since we was little. We was always around each other's houses. We always had sleepovers. We was always very close together. Even when we left school and we got jobs and then we moved away from each other a bit further than we was, we still always remained in contact. I don't think there was ever a day that we didn't speak to each other.
Kelly's my best friend. We've actually grown up together. And we've always remained close. Me and Kelly actually went to school together. We've actually grown up together, you know, we've always kept in contact, even though we've had children and we've lived separately in different areas. And she's always been my best friend. She's always been a friend that I can always talk to, and she's always there for me. When I actually started researching myself into the religion, I actually just phoned her one time, and we was on the phone for a long time, and I just, you know, was telling her loads of things, because you know, it was all new to me, and I said, I hope you understand, because you know, you've been my best friend, and you know, you've always been there and understood everything. And when I explained things to her, you know, I was quite even more surprised, because she just like, oh, you know, like if something touched her, I don't know what it was, but she, straight away, even while I was talking to her, she said, oh, you know, that's amazing what you're telling me.
The first time Natasha told me that she'd been researching into Islam, she was just so overwhelmed on the phone, and I think it was almost 3 hours that we were talking to on the phone, and she was just trying to tell me so much. And then afterwards, I just immediately had to go, and I went on to Google, and I just started looking into information, and then I just felt exactly like what she was feeling. I could feel myself. And it was just so amazing. And then I had to phone her up, and then we was discussing, and I think every day for that week, I think the first week, we was just always on the phone to each other whenever we could, just telling each other what we'd found out.
I think Kelly had been searching for something for quite some time now. She went to Turkey for 1 year, and I think she was hoping that something would happen there, being Islamic country, that you know, she would find Islam there, but it wasn't meant to be at that time. And I think that now, you know, through me telling her my story, something happened to her, and I think it's made a great impact on her life for the better, and for her children as well.
If you ask someone anyway, like when my dad was saying, why are you doing that? You can't, he said, I can't change my religion. He said, you can't do that, how can you do that? I said, because last week when I told him that I'd taken the Shahada, what's that? What have you done? What is this? And he got a piece like a piece of paper. He's like, but you can't just change, you are Church of England. And I said to him, yeah, but what does it mean, Dad? You keep saying I'm Christian, but what does it mean? And actually he couldn't answer, and he doesn't go to church now. We never had no rules or anything like, you know, there wasn't anything particular that you must do or you mustn't do. So it's just like, yeah, I'm a Christian, and that's it. Even my dad couldn't answer. And then my mum actually sat there and said, but we don't go to church now. And then I think my dad sat there and said, well, I pray. And she went, well, I don't. So yeah, I think they're starting to think things actually themselves now. A lot of things with my mum and dad though, my parents, has been really difficult. Like my dad said to me, about a month ago now though, but they are getting used to the idea now. They're actually quite nice now. But my dad actually said to me when I said that I was going to convert to Muslim, the first thing he actually said was, you'll be blowing yourself up. I went, don't be stupid. I said, that's because you're reading. That's what you're reading. That's what you're hearing about. I said, I'm not going to go and blow myself up. And then, actually, because of the Woolwich incident, I thought that they'd be actually really worried about me, actually, because here, no Muslim community. But actually, he was actually defending Muslims, actually, and I was shocked. He actually said that just because they're saying in the newspaper that he's Muslim, the whole community shouldn't be to blame. So I hope, you know, because of myself turning Muslim, they're having a better understanding. Whereas before, if they read that in the paper, they would have just straight away said, oh, another terrorist. But now, yeah, they're changing their mind, so they're getting a better insight, I think, on things. My younger sister was actually quite surprised, but I thought that she wouldn't have an interest at all, actually, about anything. But she was asking me lots of questions. And actually, when some of my family was asking questions, why is Kelly doing that? Why is she converting? My sister actually said, just leave her alone. She isn't doing anyone any harm. And we used to go out drinking together. We used to go clubbing together. And now we don't go out, don't drink any alcohol anymore. And she actually said she wishes she could do the same. She wishes she didn't go out as much, and she doesn't want to drink anymore. But I think a lot of it is because your friends are doing it. So because your friends are going out, clubbing and drinking, it's just something to do. But I've stopped going out, I don't drink alcohol anymore, and I actually feel much better for not doing it. Alcohol just causes so many problems, and when I think now that I used to drink and go out, I didn't realise at the time it was wrong. But if I would have understood then, I wouldn't have done a lot of the things that I've done. Since finding Islam, I feel like my life's really improved, especially since I stopped drinking alcohol. I feel so much better, and I feel like I've got a reason to live every day now. Whereas before I was just waking up, doing the same thing, going to work, seeing to the kids, going to sleep, and that was it. But now I wake up in the morning, I wake up to pray, and it's a reason to live, and I feel like I just want to wake up every day now to please Allah, and I feel so much more at peace with myself, and especially when I go out and I'm all covered up, I feel so much more comfortable, and I feel like I've found a real peace now within my life, and a whole new family as well within the Muslim community. And what do you think, Summer?
Well, I find that because you used to drink before sometimes, but now there's no drinking, and you've got more commitment where you pray every day, and we go to the mosque on Saturday, where before we didn't have that sort of commitment, and you appreciate things more, like your house, your water, your food, whereas other people, they haven't got that. And where you put money to charity as well, you feel good about yourself in a way that you didn't feel good about yourself before.
Since researching Islam, I found that the more and more I read about it, the more I want to find out. I just want to strengthen my iman, my faith, and gain as much knowledge as I can. And I just feel like there's so much more to life than I realised before. I never appreciated how much we actually have. And everything is created from Allah, and we all come from Allah. And I just got a whole new different outlook on life now. I just appreciate everything, and I feel so blessed with what we have. And it just completely has changed my life completely for the better. And how do you feel, Summer?
I find that when my mum is learning, I want to learn as well, because my mum knows more than me and I want to catch up with her. And yesterday in the mosque, because normally I'll go to the kids part where they don't learn anything, but I stayed with mum because I wanted to learn more and more. And then they went off to pray and I found that I wanted to come with them, because it's like a whole new chapter that you didn't know was there before, and I just want to know as much as my mum does.
After the 9/11, I just thought that all Muslims were terrorists. If I heard anyone say anything about a Muslim, straight away I would just immediately think of a terrorist. So I thought that Muslims were bad people. I never really thought too much about it then. I wasn't interested in learning about the religion because of that. When you read in the paper and about the media, they're not portrayed as nice people. So I had a bad opinion of Muslims until I began researching for myself and beginning to find out what a true Muslim is. And it's nothing to do with terrorism that's against their religion. To hurt or kill or harm another human being is a major sin in Islam. And I immediately changed the way that I thought about the Muslim people. And then looking into it even further, and then I decided that I really wanted to study Islam. And I saw how nice the Muslim people were and how nice they treat other people. And it's not in their religion at all not to even harm another human being. When we moved to Turkey, people that didn't know us, probably because maybe they knew that I'd only just recently moved there, and they'd invite me and the children in and they'd make us dinner. And I was to think, this is different. Not used to, no one would do that at home, just invite me and the kids in. And I was surprised at how nice people was. And even the Muslim families that we met there, you can tell they didn't have a lot of money, but they were sharing their food with us, what they'd made. And they were just so nice. And I thought that would never happen, and it's never happened to me and the kids here, all the years we've lived here. No one's actually that we didn't actually know properly. It's just said to us, oh, come in, do you want to come round, I'll make you all dinner. So it's just calling everyone's brother and sister, isn't it? That's just straight away makes you feel, oh, they're classing me as like their sister. And I think that was a big part of it as well when I went to the mosque. This feeling, I've never had that before. And you know, Muslims are taught to always be kind. Perhaps I wasn't as kind before to my parents as I should have been. And now, like when they come round, I'd always offer them a drink or something when they come round. But now I feel like I want to offer them food and even to invite them round for dinner more, which before, yeah, I didn't. I'd think, you know, oh, I see them, they pop round, that's it. But I think it is important that, you know, you should spend more time with family and you should come round, spend dinner together and actually have more time with my parents, where before, yeah, I'd see them for half an hour and then, you know, they'd go off. We wouldn't actually sit down and eat a meal together or anything, which a lot of Muslim families, all the families, don't they? My aunts and uncles I haven't seen for years. If there was a funeral or someone's had a baby, there was a christening, that's the only time all my family would get together. But when I lived in Turkey, then I made like friends, and then I realised they were always together. They're always, I was surprised that, and if anyone needed anything, they know that they can just ask, and no one would say no, I'm not doing that. They would just do it because they're so close together. I find quite a difference between the Christian families and the Muslim families. Whilst looking into Islam, I found such a closeness between the Muslim families and the friendships between them. When I regularly attend the mosque, and the people that I've met there, instantly they'd call me sister, and I just felt so at ease and I just felt so welcomed. And it just made such a huge difference to me that they actually considered me as family. And it was just like I had a whole new family. And I never experienced this before. I moved to Turkey. I'd been there previously on holiday before, and I'd felt so much warmth while I was there that I decided that I actually wanted to live there to experience the culture even more. I met so many nice Muslim friends, and it was so different than being at home, and they just made me feel so welcoming, and I felt that I really wanted this in my life. I wanted to be part of that, And when I returned to England and I started looking into Islam in England, I started attending the East London Mosque, and I was just made to feel so welcome. It was overwhelming. It just made me feel at home, and it made me feel like I really belonged. It's like I've been searching for something before, but I didn't know what it was, and it was like I'd finally come home and I'd finally had a whole new family. It's been quite easy for me not to do things, because now I haven't read the whole of the Qur'an or anything, but you know, when I'm learning things and you get verses from the Qur'an which says Allah says and Prophet Muhammad says, so I think because it's written there that you shouldn't do this, then I don't want to do it. No one's actually told me. I think that with my mum and dad and my family, first of all, they thought that my friend told me, you know, cover up and you've got to do this. And actually, before I knew any Muslims, when I used to see the women covered up, I used to think it's because their husbands or their boyfriends have told them to cover up. But I said to my mum, nobody told me to cover up. It's just something that I wanted to do. So now I understand as well that the way I looked at things before, the way I looked at the Muslim women, it was wrong, because I automatically just assumed people, their husbands, boyfriends, are making them cover up. But yeah, nobody told me to. And actually here, because there's not a Muslim community, it's been quite hard actually, even learning how to pray, because I've got no one to show me. I've only been reading the books, and I think it's a lot different. When I go to the mosque, then I can watch and learn. So even with the headscarf, I've had no one to actually show me, and I think, am I putting this on right? Is it right? Is it wrong? And I don't know. So it's been quite hard actually. When I've gone to my friend's on a Saturday, she actually does her headscarf a different way, and she said there's lots of different ways, and she said, look, I'll show you on YouTube. She said you can have a look on there and see. And then she showed me on there, and then yeah, when I got home that night, I just tried different ways, but I still can't actually do. When I look at people and I think, oh, their headscarf looks nice. If I try and do it, I can't do it actually. So there's a lot of things I need to learn. But that's the thing about the headscarf as well, isn't it? I found, because when my dad first saw me, yeah, he was, what you got that on for? What are you wearing that for? And then I said to him, but what about the nuns? Nobody says, what they got that on their head for? And they're covering their hair, but nobody questions the nuns. So one day I went out to the shop in Ilford and I bought 2 of the headscarves and the hijabs, and when I got home I tried it on and I actually felt so comfortable and I felt so much better about myself that I wanted to wear it. Nobody told me that I had to, but I felt like I wanted to, and I feel so much better within myself for wearing it, especially when I'm outside. And what do you feel about me wearing the hijab, Summer?
I feel fine as long as you're happy, and it's better because everybody's in competition with each other, I think.
What do you feel when we're outside, about people when we're outside?
I don't mind. It's normal, really. If somebody wants to wear it, it's their own choice.
When I came to the school, Summer, dressed in hijab, what did you feel like? How did it make you feel?
I didn't really mind. It's just nobody really said anything, so I don't think they mind either. But if I was to wear a hijab, I think it'd be a bit more different, because I'm in their year and then I'm in their actual school, so they'd see me every day, but I don't think they mind.
When I first started wearing the hijab, my mum and dad was quite shocked when they first came around. They was quite surprised, and actually my dad did tell me that he didn't actually like me wearing it, but I said that I'm not doing it to please anyone else, I'm just doing it to please Allah, and I feel much better in myself, so I'm going to carry on wearing the hijab. But I think he's got more used to seeing me now, so they're okay. When they come around now, they're used to it now, so it's fine. This is Savannah, my youngest daughter. She's 13 years old.
My reaction when I'm converted was a bit of a shock.
Why was it a shock, Savannah?
I don't know, because I didn't really see it coming.
Are you happy?
If you're happy, I'm happy.
So where do you see us like in the future, and what about yourself?
Well, I see us in the future still a big, like, happy family, but then I can't really plan ahead, and I don't know quite where I see myself.
Do you think it's brought us closer at all, or not?
Probably a little bit, because we don't argue as much as we used to.
I hope that Savannah can learn from me to respect her body more, because I feel like when I look at photos of how I was before, I feel quite ashamed the way I used to dress and just put all my body on show. And especially with my daughters, I don't want them walking around and showing off all their bodies, and it's asking for trouble really. And you know, they're my little girls, so I'd prefer it if they can follow in my footsteps now and cover up a little bit, I'm hoping. And I hope that my children will follow my footsteps and I'll be a better example, especially better than going out drinking, clubbing, smoking, all the things that are no good for us anyway. I don't want my children to be like that. I always knew that there was a God, but it's not that I used to. Yeah, if one of the kids wasn't well or something had happened, yeah, then I'd pray to God. I did sometimes, yeah, say a prayer and just say thank you for everything. So I knew, you know, there was something, but it wasn't like it actually meant anything really. It's just something that I did sometimes to pray. But now, especially like during the prayer time, I just feel like a really strong connection that it's really important. And I feel like if I miss the prayer time, then something in me, I just feel really bad. And even if I'm out and I can't help it and I can't pray, yeah, so I feel really, really bad. So as soon as I come home, and then I think, I don't actually know if I'm doing it right, trying to catch up. I don't know if you can or if you're supposed to. But yeah, then I just go and pray as soon as I can. I bought the prayer clock, and that has 6 prayer times. So the first one went off about 3:15, and the second one goes off again about 5:30 in the morning. So I was getting up, and I was so tired after. When I told them at the mosque, they was laughing. And I said, but there's 6 on there, and it's on the clock. And then someone told me that, no, if you don't get up for that first one, you've still got time. The second one is like another alarm clock to wake you up. So then if you don't get up at that time, you can still do it at 5:30. But if you do get up, then you don't have to do the 5:30. And then I was so relieved, just like, don't have to get up twice. So that's what I was doing at first. And my dad, he said, what are you getting up that time for? What's the point of that? I don't understand that. Why do Muslims have to do that then? And then I said to him, well, if you pray in the morning, you're protecting yourself from shaitan, keeping the bad things away before the day actually starts. And then I think that started getting him thinking. And I said, see, when you look into things, there is actually a meaning, and it does make sense about everything, why the Muslim people do things. It makes sense. But until you're actually told by someone or you start looking yourself, then nothing can make any sense at all. And you've got to want to, I think, yourself look into it. Even if someone just tells you, like I've been trying to explain to some people, and they sort of probably they don't want to listen, probably they think the same thing about Muslims being terrorists, so a lot of people don't even want to listen, so they're not interested. But I think, yeah, until you look into it yourself, you can't understand.